ये घड़ी भागता है बहुत तेज। हरि ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम यतः सर्वाणि भूतानि प्रतिभान्ति स्थितानि च यत्रैवोपशमं यान्ति तस्मै सत्यात्मने नमः। ज्ञाता ज्ञानं तथा ज्ञेयं द्रष्टा दर्शनदृश्यभू कर्ता हेतुः क्रिया यस्मात् तस्मै ज्ञात्यात्मने नमः। स्फुरन्ति श्रीकराजस्मात् आनन्दशाम्बरे वनौ सर्वेषां जीवनं तस्मै ब्रह्मानन्दात्मने नमः। ब्रह्मानन्दात्मने नमः। वेदोदधिं समुन्मथ्य ज्ञानरात्रं समुद्रितं येन तस्मै वसिष्ठाय गुरुणां गुरवे नमः। वशिष्ठ जी भगवान की जय। सद्गुरु भगवान की जय। सच्चिदानंद भगवान की जय। शब्द ब्रह्म की जय। सरस्वती महारानी की जय। योग वशिष्ठ जी भगवान की जय। हरि ओम। योग वशिष्ठ निर्वाण प्रकरण पूर्वार्ध का 39वां सर्ग। योग वशिष्ठ निर्वाण प्रकरण फर्स्ट हाफ and 39th chapter. Today we shall see the internal worship method. प्राप्त हुए शब्द आदि विषयों से अंग प्रत्यंगों के प्रकाशक प्रत्येक आत्म स्वरूप शिव की अंत पूजा का वर्णन। We shall see the internal worship of the highest Lord Sadashiv, who is the revealer of or enlightener of the parts of the body by the form of light. It reveals the form of the object in the form of light. That means light is nothing but the shower of the revealer of the object. When there is no light, darkness is pervading everywhere. You cannot see the object. And when there is light, you see the object. That means the light helps you to know the form of the object, how is it. And of course, the name follows the form. Somehow you name it, and the names are always according to the qualities of the form, or or the functioning style of the form, how it works. The form has something, either the qualities of activation, doing something, changing its form, or by the by the name we understand it, qualities we see. The name is given by given on the qualities and activities. In this way, we know the form and the name by the help of light, and that is so-called light. So-called light means which removes our relative darkness. But the darkness here we discuss on is it is ignorance, means not knowing, not knowing. That is called darkness. Because where there is darkness, we don't see the object. We don't know anything about the subject. That means we don't perceive it by our gross eyes or senses. That is called darkness, relative darkness. And when light comes, we see the object. But in reality, the light is self-effulgent light, which enlightens everything around it. And that self-effulgent light is all pervading, so it enlightens everything within it. All pervading means it will be only one. It must know itself. It must be aware of itself. It must be contented by itself, because there will be no imperfection or incompleteness, because it is all pervading. So when it will be completed by itself, so there will not be any needs. So there will be no desires or anything. Whatever is known as the second will not be present there. It will be absolutely one without a second. In this way, that light is known to be, which is the enlightener of everything. Everything means itself. Why? Because it is all pervading. You see, the small lamp we see, we need not bring another light to see the lamp, because lamp is self-effulgent. It shows itself. There is no need of other light to see the lamp by help of it. In this way, if there is one light only, so it sees itself, and there is no second one, so it will be omnipresent, omniscient, and omnipotent, and complete, and secondless. And how it reveals everything. Everything means itself, because there is no second. So how it reveals itself? What do we mean by it? Generally, it has got no meaning. When we use our language in ordinary day-to-day life, such language we don't use, isn't it? Do you say, I see myself? Never you say. I see others. Why these others and why not myself? When you are the seer, don't you see yourself? Everybody sees himself, but there is no need of expressing it. That's why we don't say, I see myself. There is no need of expression. That expression is for others. And others will come to the scene if inside and outside will be there. If there is no inside or outside, if there is no such feelings or such ideas, then where are others? There is no others nor myself. It is because of some limited demarcating ideas. Now see that ambulance is outside ashram, standing ready for going to mobile camp. It is outside ashram. How do you know it? Because of the boundary wall. The boundary wall is a demarcating line, and then we understand something is inside the ashram and something is outside the ashram. Without these demarcating lines, we don't know, there is no use of outside or inside. There is no use of others or myself. So these demarcations are caused because of the unlimited making limited. The unlimited becomes limited, then comes the demarcating lines. If there is no boundary wall anywhere in any house or any ashram, nowhere, so everything is one. There is no outside nor inside. There is no others or mine. No question arises. So this is because of all pervading landed entity. The land is all pervading. Everywhere the land is there. No demarcating lines. So it is one and one alone. And when it is unlimited. When we limit it, then comes the question inside or outside, this side or that side, others or myself. All these questions come only when the unlimited is limited by some demarcating ideas. These are only ideas. Ideas means very short staying. It remains for a very short time. Very short time. You see, we limit the sky also. We limit the air also. We limit the fire, of course, and water. Is there any demarcating line in oceans? But we have demarcated by somehow, some means, and then we name it. This is Pacific Ocean. This is Antarctic Ocean. This is Black Sea. This is Arabian Sea. Something we name it by demarcation. And demarcation lines are only imaginary. We divide the sky also. It is Indian sky, and that is Tibetan sky. Chinese planes should not enter into Indian sky. Or else we shut it down. So this is how all these are only imaginary and momentary. And if this is not there, this demarcating ideas are not there, everything is one and it is within itself. Within itself. So just as the lamp enlightens itself, there is no need of some other light to be seen. It is seen by itself. So also the supreme effulgent light that is one without a second, so it sees itself. In this way, we can see how it enlightens the other things. Others means we have to demarcate and we have to see in and out. That's why we have discussed previously external worship of the absolute Lord. External worship. And now we shall see internal worship. It is only because of our imaginations, different identities demarcated with lines or some limited lines or the unlimited becomes it takes a form and a name by these limiting lines. In this way, we understand what is internal and what is external. And that is mostly based upon the body idea. Body idea. The world exists because of me. If I am not there, who is there to see this world? How can world be proved? So, for a proof, there should be witness. Witness. And relative witnesses, they give proof they are of different kinds. Say direct, sometimes indirect proofs. Direct means seen by the presence. One sees the accident or something, so he witnesses. Or it can be indirect also. So always we want two proofs. Always two proofs will be sufficient to prove anything. Some incident or some object or something. For everything there is need of a proof too. And if it is absolutely one, there is no need of any proof, because the seer and the seen object, they are in one, two in one, three in one also. The seer, the seen, and the seeing process, all the three takes place in one only. The seer sees itself by itself. So the triad is basically one. And when we have limited ideas, then we divide it into three. These three constitutes the whole creation, whole universe. We understand or know the universe because of triads. Some seer must be there, some seen object, we see the world or something, and the process of seeing also should be there. Then only the world exists. Now coming to our subject, Lord Shankar was explaining the method of worship to Vasishtha, the great guru, and he explained the external worship in last chapters, and now he explains the internal worship. The Lord said, महर्षि, जो पवित्र करने वालों को भी पवित्र करने वाला है, तथा जो संपूर्ण अज्ञानों का नाश करने वाला है, आत्मदेव का वह अंत पूजन अब मैं आपसे कहता हूँ, सुनो. He says, O great saint, one who is purifies the heart and purifies the purifier also, the purifier of the purifies, purifier, purifier of the purifier, and who is destroys all kinds of ignorance, not being able to see the object. That is called ignorance or darkness or misunderstanding. So one who destroys this darkness or misunderstanding or ignorance, and who is purifies the purifier also, and who is the self of selves, the supreme self. I shall tell you about the internal worship of that Supreme. यह पूजा भी ध्यानात्मिका ही है और जा रहे, बैठ रहे, जाग रहे तथा सो रहे पुरुष के सभी व्यवहार में सर्वदा अनुगत है. This is also, this internal puja also there in external puja. It is also there in the external worship, and this is meditation only, but the outlook differs. The where, from which angle of vision you see the object. Just as we see something from the relative point of view, and in that always things will be complicated or confusing something. Why? Because it is relative, because it is related with each other. So it is not independent, it is not final decision. So the complication comes, and unclarity, all this confusiveness, all this appear because of relativity. And relativity is there when there is two. So in our relative day-to-day life, whatever we say, whatever we hear, understand, everything is confusing. Suppose I said the car is moving at the rate of say 60 kilometer per hour. Has it got clear final idea? How could you say it is 60 kilometer per hour? Is it continuous? No. You said it is running in 60 kilometer per hour. The speed is compared with the time. Then only you said so. So many complications are there. Then you come to time factor. Then you go to speed factor. What is called speed? Everywhere some complication is there. There is no complete 100% clarity. This is how we behave in relative life. So now external means something, some demarcating line must be there. So he said external puja, external worship. That means also internal will be there. External will be there when internal is there. And internal also is there because external is there. One is related with the other. So when you said internal worship, then you have to say something about external worship also. It is already told, and in that also we saw the meditation is everything. Worship, it is the highest worship. So how is meditation? Is it external or internal? Can you say meditation is external? Meditation, we discussed, meditation is of two kinds. One is external and the other is internal. And that comes because of the body idea. Body idea. We see some names and forms outside the body, outside the body. Because the body is there, we see names and forms outside the body, and we believe this is called visible world. So on this, you can meditate also. So outside world is formed by only names and forms. So you can meditate on any name or any form. And it starts from outside, it becomes inside afterwards. Because meditation is, if you understand, meditation is the end of the mental functions. Mind functions both way, outwardly and inwardly also. But the mind starts from the inside. Inside means where is the origin of mind? It is the brain. Brain, we call it the sahasrar, or the seat of the mind, head office of the mind. It functions from there. And how is it formed? It is formed by vibrations. Vibrations are called thoughts. Particular vibrations are named particularly. The same vibration is called energy, the primordial supreme energy, the the universal energy, which is the starting, is nothing but vibration only. And the moment it starts, it goes on changing. Vibration means it has to change. So the nature of energy has to change. So when it changes, it takes different forms and different names. So one energy is known as mind, other energy is known as prana, which activates all other parts of the body. So many kinds of energies are there because it is a changing process. So it goes on changing and it takes different names. Now, the same thoughts or process of thought also is energy, and the process of prana also is energy. And mind starts from the brain, and brain vibrations are created by pranic energy. One is related with the other. It is relative. Why? Because it is a changing process. Everything is related with everything else. In this way, the same inner becomes outer, outer becomes inner, and mind goes out through the sense gates, and it thinks it is outside, and it relates or keeps up its relationship, means it gets associated with external names and forms, and it collects some ideas, that means some informations, and brings it back and deposits it. This is the function of the mind. So now it goes out and comes in also. So functioning both way. And this function, when it ends in zero, that means all the functions are not seen at all. Quite a steady and calm position, equilibrium position. That state of existence is known as meditation. So meditation starts from outside, and of course ends in, we have to say, as long as the body idea is there. But truly there is no inside, no outside. So it starts and ends. That's all. For analysis, we say outside and inside, and external and internal worship, everything we say. Now, are you clear about the idea of external worship and internal worship?
Yes.
Clear, but not fully clear. You cannot be fully clear. Some ideas you have now. Some ideas. External worship and internal worship. Finally, internal is external, external is internal. Yes.
जो एक्सटर्नल है वो जब खत्म हो जाता है तब इंटरनल होता है, लेकिन वो एक्सटर्नल तो जब हम जग जाते हैं तो हमारे सेंसेस काम करने लगते हैं, तो वो एक्सटर्नल तो कंटिन्यू रहता है, क्योंकि हम कोई ऑब्जेक्ट सी करेंगे, किसी को टच करेंगे और सेंसेस काम कर रहे हैं सारे, तो आउटवर्ड जितनी भी चीज़ें हैं उनको हम सेंस कर रहे हैं।
External, and where external ends, then internal also will end, because they are related to each other. So, if there is an end to externally worship, then there is end to internal worship also. So it ends only when the idea of demarketing or limiting ends. Then only external and internal will end.
फिर ये आइडिया
That
कैसे,
means idea of dualism.
ये कैसे फिनिश होगा आइडिया ऑफ डुअलिज्म, यही तो बड़ा क्वेश्चन है।
We तो अब discussion कर रहे हैं. That is what we are discussing. How to finish it? It is difficult. Most difficult job. How can I say you are me? There is some difference. You cannot be me, I cannot be you. So there is some difference. How can we delete this difference? Yes.
I think we are. My question is by acknowledging, by worshiping a form, an external form, aren't we um, making giving reality to the shape and not to the infinite, which is shapeless?
Yes, yes,
No?
exactly. We are giving importance to the form and name, whether it is outside or inside. And that's how the limitedness is before us. That limit is which creates outside and inside, it is always there, and that creates the form also and name also because of limiting ideas. And then in inner and outer also. Everything depends upon that limitation. If the unlimited is unlimited, then there is no question. That is called meditation, a state of meditation. You are one with the absolute, and it is absolutely steady, having no divisibility or differences.
No duality at all.
Yes.
Just one.
So that is how you have created dualism. So that is how you have to delete dualism.
Superb, sir.
And worshipping a form
Sequence of meditation, then all these questions will subside. All these questions will not arise. What is the process of meditation? Process of meditation starts from forms or names. Either it is outside or inside. So in this way, meditations are divided into, say, 4 types, and then names and forms. So it will be outside and inside, and then short time meditation and continuous meditation. So it becomes eightfold meditation. And how, what happens? The thought waves, it is a process, multiple thoughts moving on. If one thought remains on one object for some time, it is called concentration. And if it remains on that particular object, whether it is name or form, whether it is outside or inside, no matter. But if one thought remains for longer time, steadily, that is called fast concentration. For longer time is known as meditation, and still longer time it is called samadhi. Intensification is known as samadhi. Intensified means steady for long time. This is how generally we understand what is meditation process. And now here, it starts from limitations and it ends in unlimitedness. How, what happens really? Please come to our mathematics. Where from you start? No, you cannot start from zero. If you say zero, how many zeros? You have to count one. There is no other go. It starts from one. Decimal, how many zeros after decimal? or before. Everywhere one is first. Without one, you cannot start anything. And it starts from one and ends in one only.
Like a cycle. One, many, one.
Say one, then what do you count? Two. Two. Okay. How do you understand two? There is one. There is one. Without one, you cannot have two. How do you understand three?
One, one, one.
Everywhere, wherever you go, it is modification of one only. And if you say 10, it is one decade. 22 decades, there is also one. 100, 1 century. 1,000. Though it appears to be different than one, yet one is there. You cannot delete one by no means. It starts with one and it ends in one. Can you accept it?
Yes.
1 crore, 1 million. Everywhere one is present. And it gets modified, takes some different forms, and again, in that differences, one is always present. This is called relativity. You see, outside means inside is there. Without inside, where is outside? And without outside, where is inside? So both are related. If one is considered, the other is considered indirectly. Isn't it? So meditation starts with the two, ends in one. Two means multiplicity, manyness, and it ends in one. How we have considered now the names and forms because of limitedness, because of inside and outside, so many causes. And we start meditating, means mind also a multiple thoughts changing process. So one thought should be hold. Hold on what? Hold on form or name or outside or inside, whatever. So that form is formed on unlimitedness. Be attentive. How you must see logically. The unlimited has been limited, then only the form is formed. Okay. The unlimited is one and limited is many.
So much
It starts from one and it appears to be many and it ends in one. Everywhere, not only in mathematics, everywhere. How many you see here? You see one tree. One tree, it has got many branches. One branch, it has got many sub branches. One sub branch, it has got many buds and leaves. One leaf, it has got many parts of it or cells. One cell, it has got outer cell, inner and center and everything in manyness. One atom, center, one center and the periphery and the nucleus and the what do you call electron, proton, so many things. One, the moment you want to see one, it appears in many forms. You cannot see the one as one if you want to see, but you can experience it as one. You cannot see. Seeing means dualism. A seer must be there, seeing process must be there, and a seeing object must be there. Triads can create this seeing process. So do whatever you like. One cannot be seen. It can be experienced only. And on this basis, we laugh at the scientists when they say the God particle is changing. The moment you pay attention, it changes. What does it mean? Has it any meaning? Meaningless statement. When one sees it, pays attention, then only it changes. If you say so, then a seer is there, one who pays attention. Whether the attention process changes or the uh, object changes or the seer changes, you have to clarify it. Then only your statement will be taken for granted. Isn't it? How do you say? Come on, you are free to say. You are a scientist. I ask you whether the seer changed or the scene changed. Have you got any conclusion over it? Any decision over it? You say the moment you pay attention. Who pays attention? Is the seer or seen? That God particle is somehow outside or inside in the seer itself. Where is it? Atoms, you say. You have blasted the atom. Is it somewhere outside some particular atom or all the atoms? When all the atoms has the same nature, then it is all pervading. Everywhere you get atoms. So you are also a combination of multiple atoms. So you are seer, you are seeing. What is the meaning of it? And the process also you are. So you are one. It is not three. You are seeing yourself in yourself. This is where we arrive at. You cannot prove any two by no means. So meditation starts, call it anywhere from, but it ends in one and it disappears as one, but it cannot disappear from its existence. Existence is never denied. One remains as one, but it is not counted as one. Why? Because if you count one, there is possibility of the two, because looking at the two, you are counting one. Without looking at two, you cannot count one. There is need of counting one only when you see second.
Even if the second is not there, you're creating that in
Idea, if it is not there, it will come.
It come.
Because we are concerned with the time, situations, and conditions. If not now, it will come in future. If not now, it was in past. Somehow there is possibility, some ideas. In this way, this relative world, our thinking process, our our vision is everything is complicated and confusing. Nothing is clear. So it is called misunderstanding. It changes every moment. It changes.
Only there is one way of looking at one thing.
That you cannot say one thing. It is thing.
No, I get that. If I look at a limitation, but in that limitation, I see the creation of the entire limited in that limitation. If I look at a form, the entire existence and the universe is that form at that time.
Yes, yes, yes. That is how to speak on that. It is not seeing, it is not calculating, it is nor bigger nor smaller. That's why the last expression of the highest authority, Vedas, they said it is smaller than the smallest and bigger than the biggest. The same atom, it holds the whole cosmos within it. If you can accept this, then how can you say atom is two or three or some? It is one only.
And cannot be.
It holds everything in it. So no question, everything or something. Then you have to keep quiet only. No questions arise. How do you think? Is it logical way or it is just haphazard, whatever comes in the way? That is not accepted because intellect is there to, yes, it has to approve. So the finest intellect is known as prajna,
Purna Prajna.
finest. That's why it is said in Gita, Indriyani paranyahu, Indriyebhyo param mana, manasastu para buddhi, jo buddhe hai parasastu saha. Buddhi when becomes sharp and more sharp, and then it becomes it takes the subtlest form, the minutest vibration, ripple, and that which is just near to the equilibrium state, that is known as prajna or intuition or emotion or faith or devotion or patience. All these are named for that state. The first change, we call it supreme power. Call it from any name or any angle you call it, see it. But you should understand the equilibrium is never expressed. It is only experienced. By whom? By itself. That is called awareness. It cannot be counted. So what happens? We coming to our point. Meditation starts from manyness and slowly withdrawal. This process is given in our Raja Yoga, Patanjali Yoga, you have to practice code of conduct first, and then you have to uh, steady the instrument, that body, and then you have to withdraw the senses, the process of perception, withdraw the mind from manyness to oneness, withdrawal, and then you go on practicing it. So, what happens in the end? What happens in the end? It disappears as an identity. See, when you drive a car in some direction and you are speeding up in a 100 kilometer or 150 kilometer per hour speed. Okay. All of a sudden something happened, you have to put the brake. Okay. And if you lose the brake, what happens? It will go on. The momentum will give a push to go forward or backward. It has to go forward. And the direction will not be changed. So it will go on ahead. In this way, when you start from manyness and go towards one, and if there is a break, means concentration means it is a break. It remains on one point for some time, and then again it goes out. Again it comes. Withdrawal means the same thing. So in the end, what happens? It is a break, and if the break is loosened, then it should go in the same direction. So it will, if you have started from many and reached to one, then after the break, where will it go? It will go to no one. No one state means no counting the absolute equilibrium. It will lose its oneness. That one is identical, so it is called ID, and it is called ego, the I. Yes.
Meditation starts externally, continues internally. Okay. So after it becomes internal, can we assume that who am I? This question is answered.
This is what we are discussing. That I, we find out I, and that I vanishes. That is the end of meditation. Because it has started from this side, from manyness towards oneness, and that one also will disappear. The identity will be there as existence, but no expression. Yes.
It looks like sometimes there is this this experience and this or recognition, but then the mind tends to come back, of course, in the relationship with the world. And this is like a process that it's very confusing sometimes.
Confusing because you are not looking at the basement. Basement is understood when you see things analytically, technically, analytically, logically, from all sides. Then only you can have some clear ideas. See now, what we say to come out or to come to relative world, it is just a language, has no meaning at all. Logically or analytically, we have to come to energy only. Energy means vibrations. Vibration means imbalanced state. From there, you have to start understanding. So, this relativeness means, this world means clumsy manyness of those vibrations. The energy plays the role. Dancing of energy. That is what we were discussing before. The energy dances. That means only multiple vibrations, changing every way, every moment, in all conditions, changing. It takes different forms, and that is called play of energy. Up to that, the scientists have reached. Up to that, we agree with scientists, but it is outward and it is haphazard. You must go still ahead, still deeper. Where from that energy starts. Energy means, what do you mean by energy? Energy means imbalanced state. That's why it changes. When you are walking, if you lose your balance, what happens? When balance is lost, then anything can happen. That is called our world. Anything can happen. There is no certainty you will reach somewhere, you will be uh, knocking against something or some other thing. Anything can happen when the balance is lost. That is what happens with the world. Energy means imbalanced state, and if there is balanced state, nothing to speak. Be quiet. No question. No question. Keep quiet there. If you say something, if you express something, it is by the help of energy only. That is imbalanced state. So expression is always wrong, and experience is always right. You have tasted honey. Can you tell me exactly 100% how does it taste? I have not tasted honey. Come on, give me some explanations, some expressions. How does it taste? Can you? Something you can express.
Sweet, maybe smallest word.
The last will be taste yourself, you will understand what is called. That is the last we can say.
Way to learn.
On these beautiful examples they give. You can understand very easily. Two sisters were there. The elder got married to some boy, and he went to the father-in-law's house for a long time. After a long time, she comes to see her parents and family members. When she came, the younger sister was very curious. What happens when one gets married?
What happens after marriage?
The younger sister takes her away to some solitary place and asks, my dear sister, can you tell me one thing? Yes. How is your father-in-law's house, and how do they behave with you, and what happens? Are you happy there? Yes, I am happy. What happens after marrying? What will be the answer?
What else is the
The sister answers, my dear, when you get married, you will understand. There is no language to express it. So, this is how the meditation, end of meditation, or experience of anything in this world. Experience is that balanced state which cannot be expressed, and that experience is all pervading. It is same everywhere, common everywhere. It will not differ from each other, but the expression will differ. That's how the Vedas said, Ekah sat vipra bahudha vadanti. The truth is one, but the seers and the saints and sages, they tell about it in different languages. They differ from each other.
So it can be expressed.
It cannot be expressed.
It can be. Because if you're defining expression as a constant, but if expression varies, then you can express it in a million different ways.
That's why they differ.
So let it differ, but it's still an expression.
Yes,
So you can express it.
expression is not 100% correct. That's why they differ. If it will be one, there is no difference. Come to the point. If it is real, there cannot be any difference. Language differs because it is not exact expression. That's why it differs. Difference is where there is no oneness, no agreement, then only you differ from each other. That's how so many religions, so many schools of thoughts, so many things. Because this is the nature of the world. You cannot help it. The only way to keep quiet. Then only you can agree to everyone. The silence is the only language which never differs. And all other languages, they differ from each other.
Oh, yeah, but silence is not talking.
Yes, silence also has different forms of silence. The real silence is absolute equilibrium. That is called real silence. We say silence relatively because it is a word, silence. We differ from each other. What is silence? Silence is maybe physical silence, maybe mental silence, maybe intellectual silence, maybe absolute silence. Different kinds of silences. I am keeping quiet now. Do you think I am doing nothing? I am keeping quiet. I am not speaking. That means I am keeping silence. Is it called silence? It is called body language, verbal language, body language, mental language, intellectual language, indicative language. Many kinds of language is there. Dance also is a language. So on this, many seers have investigated and they have given us the music and dance, all different kinds of body language, expression of something by body language. By musical tone, you can express your feelings, and many other kinds of language is there. Telepathy, it is also some language. The mother is here in India. The boy is seriously ill in America. The mother knows it. She feels very uneasy. This is called telepathy. The boy thinks of mother, and mother thinks of the boy. So there is communication.
That's how they meet.
Yes, there is communication. And communication method is language. Communicating method is known as language. The language are many in number. So many languages are there. So the expression differs from each other, but the object is same. Ekah sat, truth is one. Vipraha bahuda vadanti. The knower of the truth, they express it in different languages. 100 many different languages. So what happens really? What is called expression? Expression is nothing but some impressions, haphazard impressions of the reality. Reality is balanced state. Okay. Unless and until you become one with it, you cannot have full expression. And when you are one with it, you have lost your identity to come back to express. Understood?
Yes.
When you have become one with the object, then you have lost your identity to come back to express. So your identity is gone. That is the consequence of meditation. One becomes one with the object, and perception is haphazard oneness. Haphazard means not complete oneness, it is partial oneness. That's how they give the example. Say the building is green and it is just recently painted. The paint is not dried up. If you throw the ball against it, the ball will come to you. With what impression? It will give you some ideas of the color. It will bring you some information of the building, some, but not full. When the ball becomes one with the building, then only it can give you full information. And then the ball has lost its identity. Who will give you information?
What about you said when you lose your identity and merge, you can't come back to express it. So what happens in the case of Krishna, who comes from the absolute to take human form? Why can't Krishna express it?
भैया मैं कितने बार बोल देता हूँ, आप भूल जाते हो. Whatever is expressed, it is indicative. Language is, take any kind of language, it is indicative and symbolic. It is not complete by itself. Gita, whatever Krishna said, it is explained by thousands in different ways. He expressed something, expressed on his being. He said, I am the universal being. So what do you understand by universality? If you understand something on it, you have to tell it in wrong way. So thousands of explanations are given over Gita. Nobody yet has completed what did he say. Whatever he said, that was also a language. And that language also was haphazard. Whatever he felt and he could not express, so he expressed it to many by vision, inner vision. He gave the inner vision to Sanjay. He gave inner vision to his mother at childhood. He gave the inner vision to Arjun. To many, he has given the inner vision to experience his identity because it cannot be expressed. He said to Arjun, you cannot see me, you cannot know me by your this identity. You cannot see me by this eyes. I will give you the inner eyes of knowledge, that is experiential eyes. Then only you can see my form. And that is what happened. He gave the same eye of knowledge, inner eye to Sanjay also. Whereas this Dhritarashtra or others could not see, but Sanjay saw it. And many others he gave this eyes. It is experiential eye. That's why he expressed in that way.
You have to taste the honey yourself.
Yourself. There is no other go.
No other way.
No other go. You have to experience. And that experience is the end of meditation. Meditation is a process in the beginning and it is a state of being in the end. It ends in no oneness, means non-dualism, and it starts with dualism. And that's how we see it is outer or inner, the meditation or worship. We go on considering how many kinds, how it starts. In the beginning, there will be differences, but in the end, it ends in that non-dualistic existence. There is no I, there is no you, there is no meditation. So meditation is the last state to be. And on this basis, the highest philosophers, they argue on this basis, subtle logic, superfine logic. They argue the world cannot be there. There cannot be any creation. Why? Why there cannot be any creation? Whatever you see, it is not your so-called creation, it is something else. Creation is impossible. Why? How? See, the potter wants to create a pot. Okay? This is called creation. If the potter wants to create a pot or the carpenter wants to create something, some say stool or almari or something he want to create. He must know what is to create. Without knowing, can he do it? Now come to the logic. If you don't know what are you going to create, you cannot create. Do you agree? Yes. And when you know it, how do you know it? Is it haphazardly or fully? Come on. If you know it fully, then you have lost your identity. Who will create? When you have lost I, identity, then who is there to create? And without full knowledge, whatever you create, it is not called creation, real creation. It is something haphazard, something. It is not reality.
Desire.
Pardon?
Desire.
Desire, or the shapes or shapes and sizes or the names, whatever you have created, it is haphazard. Say you have created a pot out of clay. You can create a idol also from the same clay. So what is the difference between the pot or idol? The basic principle is same clay. There is no difference. Some sizes, some shapes, it looks different, but basically it is one the same. It is not called creation. It is only clay taking some shapes. And that shape also is not permanent. It will come back to the clay shape again because the source is clay. It has to come back again to clay shape. Whatever you have created, see, the car is created, some iron, some wood, or some other uh, elements are used in it. So when the car is crushed into something by some accident, what happens to those ingredients? It goes back to the source. The iron goes to the iron, and the wood goes to the wood. It has to go back to the source. Similarly, we see everything, and similarly, we can say when a person dies, means this body decays, the elements which are used to compose this body, they go back to their original source. पंचत्वगतम इसीलिए तो बोलते हैं. In our sophisticated language, we don't say the person is died. We don't say. It is something painful. So they don't use the person is died. No. They say he has attained 5 elements. He has entered to 5 elements. This is the language they use. He has gone to his heavenly abode. In this language they use. Swargavas ho gaya. And for Mahatmas, we say he has entered Samadhi, not say he has died. Death is something unwanted word. Nobody is ready to accept it. That's why they use some sophisticated language which indirectly means the same. He has gone to his heavenly abode. He has entered into sources, 5 elements. His prana has left the body. In this way, they express the death.
Swamiji, if we see flowers, trees, mountains, rivers, these are full creation or no?
That's why they say it is all you are confused, misunderstanding, you are ignorant of the truth. That's why they say everything is haphazard. What do you see? Just now I gave you the example. Do you see one or many? Do you see the tree anywhere? Can you show me the tree? Huh? You blind fellow, you say, I am seeing the tree. Where is the tree? Come on, show me.
In your mind.
Just standing in between.
Standing, what is standing? Can you touch this tree? Can you show me the tree? There is no tree anywhere. It is just a word which is used for something, a collective object. That's why. That's what is the meaning of tree. Same thing. Do you see me? See me? Who am I? Swamiji. Can you touch Swamiji? Whatever you see, can you touch? Can you smell? Can you hear? What do you hear? You are hearing something else. Sunuvanna sunuvatyanye. We hear not. We see not. Whatever we do, we don't do it in real sense. Can you touch me? Touch me? Come on. You have to touch Swami Premanand. Touch. Did you touch Swami Premananda or the leg or the skin or the cloth? What did you touch? Is it called Swami Premanand? This is how we don't do what we want to do. We don't see what we see. You are not able to see Swami Premanand. Never you see. But you claim you see. Everywhere is like that. Do you see this book? Can you touch the book? Tell me where is the book. Is it book or it is some color or some front page? What do you touch? Is it called book? It is the front page, it is a color, it is a name, and it is some idea. It is not the book. Are you able to see the book? You blind fellow. This is not the book.
Just an idea.
Idea, and the book is something which is not here. Some idea, some collective ideas got together, and it is called book. Similarly, everywhere. Do you see the alphabets? Do you see something written here? What do you see? For I, problems. Do you see the I here? Do you see the I here? Do you see the problems here? Drop here. Do you see the drop? And do you see the alphabet here, or some color, or some size, or some lines? What do you see?
Collection of ideas.
This is how, if you really analyze your relative life in this way, you are not doing what you want to do. You are not seeing what you want to see. It is something madness or foolishness or innocency. You don't know anything, but you go on doing something. Your foolishness, utter foolishness. And how can you believe this world? Come on.
So all this is defined by as it's a common definition, three collection of leaves.
Common definition means this is called relative life. It goes on changing and it is accepted for some time in some conditions, in some situations. Time, situation and conditions, देश काल पात्र अथवा देश समय, देश काल और परिस्थिति, इसको लेकर के हम चलते हैं. Time changes, the situation change, the conditions change. So whatever we know, it changes. So our knowledge is haphazard and good for nothing. That's why we are miserable. Nobody is happy in this world. That's why they say this world is nothing but a house of miseries, problems. World is known as a problem. World means a problem. World means your life, yourself, or I and mine. This is called world. This is a problem. This is a misunderstanding. This is a confusion. This is a story, changing story, unending story. This is a journey, unending journey. This is how the seers have defined this world. This is a business center, give and take. This is non-reliability, not reliability. You cannot rely upon anything. This is not Reliance company, unreliance company. You cannot rely upon anything. This is a dance of the, what do you call that girl? Dancing girl. How do you abuse her? The dance of that mad girl. This is called world. This is defined in many ways, many heart-touching way. This is a business center. Heart बोलते हैं ना, जहाँ वीकली मार्केट लगता है, सब्जी मंडी, मंडी कहते हैं, मंडी, business center. Give something, take something. That is what is going on everywhere. And this is the house of ghosts. Dancing place of the ghosts. This is the back tail of the dog. It cannot be straightened. It is always, always bent. In this way, this world is defined by the seers.
Swamiji, you also mentioned about but code of conduct to as a
Relative conduct.
relate.
Yes, yes.
Can you elaborate?
For some time, for some culture in some countries, in particular section of people, in a particular society, your code of conduct is not applicable everywhere in the world. Your your संविधान को क्या कहेंगे? Constitution is not accepted in America nor in England. Your constitution is for you in India only. So it is within some limited. You cannot say code of conduct is universal. No. Everything is related. So now we have seen the internal meditation and external meditation, just some light on it. We have to yet discuss it further. What is internal and external? And the moment you say external, there is internal hidden there. And the moment you say internal, there is external within the internal. Don't forget, when I say in, that means out. When I say door, that means it is window. You have to see all around. This is how the feeling is expressed to some extent. Some extent. And this is how the poets express their inner feeling with few wordings. That is called poetry. Music also, dance also. The language they express their inner state up to some extent. That is all. Now we have seen to start with internal meditation and internal worship. Be clear. वो पूजा भी ध्यानात्मिका ही है और जा रहे हैं, बैठ रहे हैं, जाग रहे हैं तथा सो रहे हैं, पुरुष के सभी व्यवहारों से सर्वदा अनुगत है. That internal meditation also is external. It is always there while eating, drinking, walking, or sleeping. Whatever you do externally, that also holds this internal meditation. It is there. That is what we were discussing yesterday, day before. A person, every one of us, we are always bound to meditate. You cannot but meditate. Without meditation, you cannot do anything. And that meditation is very momentary. That's why it changes. That's how we have the theory of perception. The thoughts remain on some object for a very short time and they go on changing. That's how you have to meditate, but for a fraction of second. That is not called, that is not really wanted. The wanted is continuity of meditation. And we have to practice it. We have to withdraw the mind from different objects and names and forms. We have to fix it on one and for longer time. So meditation is outside, inside, everywhere, always is there. Without meditation, the world cannot go on. But the frequency should be looked for. Frequency or the stability, the longevity should be more. That is what is understood by practice of meditation. So, this code of conduct we practice because we have to pay attention to keep the mind on one behavior or some action which is repeated again and again, which is not harmful for others or for yourself. It should be favorable for everyone. That is called code of conduct. It should not be punching to others or to you. It should be suitable and it should be favorable. It should be accepted by everyone. That is called code of conduct. Thereby, you are practicing, of course, meditation, but in a small scale. Then we sit for some time, asana. If body moves, the mind also moves and the prana also moves. Our life is in a cooperative triangular process. Triangular process. The triangle is made by mind, prana, and body. Body means with the senses. Body is gross, prana is subtle, and mind is still subtle. So, body moves means prana has to move. If prana moves, then body is moved. To move the body, prana acts. Its presence is to activate the body or the senses. Its purpose is that, and its action is that to move the body, to activate the different limbs of the body. Even minutest nerve, prana has to activate. Then only it will do something. So prana, and when the prana moves in this way, it has no decision or it has no some process. It is already set process. Of course, in a particular process, there is difference also because it is relative, don't forget. So mind, it creates the mind a particular process which will have control over the other parts and every part of the body internally, outwardly also. So mind is controlling aspect. Prana is activating process aspect, and the body or senses are reacting process aspects. So these three aspects, they get together to form a triangular cooperative force by which the lifestyle goes on. And of course, it will be under the law of action and reaction. cause and effect, all the natural laws. It will be under the laws. So now, if you calm down the body, the prana and mind has to settle down, because this is the this is the instrument through which they do some actions. If the car is stopped somewhere, what can driver do, or what can the fuel do? Can the fuel drive the car, or the driver can drive the car if it is fixed somewhere, chained somewhere? That is called asan posture. It should be fixed sometime, for some time somewhere. That is called posture, asana, at least for 3 hours. That is control over the body. And when one is controlled, the others have automatic control. So then we have to look for pranayam, the prana, the energy, which is fuel of the car engine. We have to see how much fuel is there. Is it activating, or we should stop it? And mind, of course, the driver. So in this way, slowly we practice meditation. And Patanjali gives us some technical, some practical process how to control the mind and enter into meditative state. And why? Because unless the mind is stable, we don't do anything successfully. Successfully means we don't get the target done. That's why always the children, the students are advised, have attention, bring your attention, be attentive. Always they are warned. ध्यान दो, ध्यान दो, ध्यान नहीं दोने से कुछ नहीं होगा. हम ध्यान हमेशा करते हैं. We do meditation all the time. That's why the teacher says to the students, give attention, hear me, hear me. The ears of the students are always wide open, but yet the teacher says, hear me. That means they don't hear, though the ears are open. Though the eyes are open, they don't see. The same with every one of us. So all these we have to see very carefully, very minutely, logically, analytically, from every angle. Then only we can understand the highest worship of the Supreme God. It is not an easy job, but not difficult. So difficult that it is impossible. It is not impossible. Only if you can pay attention, the God particles will not change. It will be stable. This is our conclusion. Yes, yes. Tomorrow we shall see further. It is already late.
Last class you had talked about when the Britishers came here, they used the divide, the mind,
Yes.
divide and rule strategy.
This is the process of creation.
My question was, we talk about the absolute truth and its expressions, and it has been expressed in our society, in our culture, in many different ways. Everywhere we go, we see that expression. So my question is, how did people from outside understand the mind better than the people here who had that expression in their society, but yet could not withstand foreigners, whether it's Britishers or anybody else who came in?
You see, divide and rule is a natural process. It is not the treasure of Indians. It is the treasure of, it is the law of nature. Anybody can find it out.
No, that's true. If we've been saying that they're sages and this has been in our culture, then that knowledge should have been, everybody should have had that to a greater degree.
Everybody should have, but because of carelessness, this is the nature of the nature, because we forget everything. So all these calamities are seen in our social culture. They get tainted, they get ruined in the course of time. Always it happens. That is what the nature of nature that happens. Again, it has to be renewed. That is what Lord Krishna said. Dharma sansthapanartha jada jada hi dharmasya glanirvavati bharata. When it gets impure or it is confused, the social customs and traditions and religion it is mixed up, or it is not working properly. I come down to establish it again and again, to renew it, to create a new arena, create a new era. That is my duty, because I am the background. When your clothes are, it is, it has become dirty. What do you do? Should I go to clean your clothes? You have to say, and you have to do it. Similarly, the holder of the society or the whole universe has the responsibility to set it all right again and again. When your shoes is loosened, what do? Should I go to tight it? It is you only. So, as a absolute holder of everything, source of everything, he has to pay attention, to renew it, to redirect it or reset it. He does it. And that is the nature's nature. Nature does both way. It cleans, it makes dirty also. Your cloth is so white and so glittering. Will it remain for every 1 month or 1 year or lifelong? It will accumulate dirt and you have to wash it again. That is what happens everywhere, every moment, everywhere. Nature hides it and reveals it. This is the hide and seek game. Goes on. Hide and seek game. Nature means it opens it, closes it. This is called change. See how do I look? This is called nature. This is called nature. Changing means hiding and revealing. And this is how the God has to put the process, renew the process for some time. He knows Lord himself came down to settle every matter, and now again it is unsettled. Why? Was he unable to do it? No, he likes to do it again and again. That is his sports, and that is his nature. That is called nature. To come down again and again, to settle the disorder processes again and again. Why does it get disorder? Because he wants. Tomorrow we shall see further. Thank you. Hari Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnada Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavaseshate Om Shanti 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 Sadguru Bhagwan ki jai, Sachidananda Bhagavan ki jai, Sabda Brahma ki jai, Saraswati Maharani ki jai, Jagavasidhi Bhagavan ki jai. Hari Om.